Hi, welcome to the Feast Church and our Good Friday interactive experience. We hope today that you will find something that helps you mourn the things that are going wrong in your life, but also helps you to see hope for what's in the future. Life Interrupted is our theme, and it's really appropriate right now because all our lives are interrupted. Our hopes and our dreams and our plans are all shattered by this virus, from little things like going out to eat to bigger things like vacations to huge things like careers and relationships. So much of our lives right now are just kind of destroyed and put on halt by this virus. It may be a silly image, but a really helpful image for what's going on is what we've seen on some of these Zoom calls where someone's working in a professional setting, they're with their colleagues, and all of a sudden a spouse in their underwear or a child with a runny nose comes running through the back of the video, and all of a sudden that professional space is sort of shattered and interrupted by family life. And it's cute, but it also shows us the reality of what's going on. And if we're honest, it's not just this virus. The reality is that our lives are often interrupted by all kinds of things. That there are things that are terrible and destructive that enter into our hearts, that enter into our minds and our schedules and our experiences, and just stops life. It interrupts the way life should be. And those are things that we struggle with and things that we mourn. Today, what we've done for you is create an experience where we talk about those in light of Good Friday. Because for Christians, Good Friday is the ultimate example of what it looks like when life is interrupted. Jesus of Nazareth was a great teacher, and he was going around talking to people about how to be kind and empathetic and loving and caring, and how to explore your own spirituality and to explore who you are and who God is and how all that makes sense. And in the midst of all of that good teaching, he is suddenly and brutally murdered by hateful people and a broken system. And in that place, we see this incredible source of life suddenly interrupted by death. And so Good Friday has always been a good space to talk about when our lives get interrupted. Today, we've created an experience for you that's going to be self-guided. We have sort of 4 hallways or 4 modules, or however you want to think about it, 4 kind of spaces for you to explore. And they're based around 4 different things that interrupt our lives. Those 4 things are danger, hurt, insecurity, and silence. And on each of these modules, each of these pages that you can click below via the images or up on top with the navigation, we'll have a video from me where I kind of introduce the topic and talk a little bit about how it applies to the life of Jesus. And then there'll be 3 more sections. The first is called World. This is a place where we listen to artists, secular artists, not Christian artists, just people just creating art for everyone, who talk about when these things interrupt our lives. And the reason that we have secular artists in a Christian celebration is because it's important to realize that this is universal. You don't have to be a believer in Jesus to experience these things and how they interrupt your life. And so those world sections will have kind of songs and video that get you to think about the things that you experience and to mourn the things that interrupt your life. The second section will be called Worship. And that's where we have Christian artists who come from a perspective of worship. What does it look like to approach God when these terrible things are happening? What does it look like to have faith despite these interruptions of life? And the final section is called Words. That's a section for you, a place for you to interact. There'll be kind of a forum where you can share your personal experience and your personal struggle with all of the things that we're talking about. And it's our prayer that that'll be therapeutic for you, that it'll help you to maybe share something and get something off your chest that will help you to process what's going on in your life. All of these are meant to be about 20-minute sections. Each kind of hallway or each page is sort of a 20-minute experience. Spend as much or as little time as you want. If you just want to look through it real quick, that's great. If you want to spend 20 minutes and really focus on one of these categories, that's awesome. If you'd like to do the whole thing, it'll probably take you about an hour and a half, but feel free to spend that time. It's our prayer that two things can happen here. The first is this important step of acknowledging and mourning the things in our lives that ruin our lives. And we want you to have space to be able to do that, to name what is happening in your life and to mourn that it's happening. The second thing that we hope we can do is provide you some kind of idea of what it looks like to trust God through it and beyond it. Because ultimately we believe Good Friday is not just about Christ entering our sufferings, though Jesus does that on the cross, but then overcoming them so that we can have a brighter future, a light at the end of the tunnel. It's our hope that time on this site will allow you to do those things, to mourn, but then to rejoice that life does not have to remain interrupted. It can resume again. Also, we want to real quickly just invite you to our Easter service. If today was helpful for you and you'd like to see the joyful other side of this spiritual season, we pray that you'll be with us Sunday morning at 10 a.m., thefeastprovidence.org/livestream. There's a link at the very bottom of every page as well. It'd be great for you to join us for Easter. It's our prayer on this Good Friday that you can find some sort of solace in sharing your experience and knowing that Jesus overcomes it on the cross. God bless you.